Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In the last part, we explored the Dark World a little bit, got the Quake Medallion, and beat the first dungeon, and now we're going to continue on with some side quest stuff. And by that, I mean pretty much explore the world more and get some heart pieces, because that's the major thing to collect in this game. In fact, it's the only thing to collect in this game, now that I think about it. First off, we want to head down here. I forget what the exact name of this place is, but it's pretty much Dark Lake Hylia. If you recall, when we were first at Lake Hylia, there was a heart piece we couldn't quite reach yet. Well, now that we have the magic mirror, we can! Just come up here and grab it, and I'm not getting it because of that stupid electric thing. Alright. Either way, next up we want to head actually back to Light World, Light Hylia. Or, this area pretty much, you know where it is. Just south of Link's house. And now that we have the hammer, we can put this stake down and raise up this rock, which contains a portal to the Dark World. Realistically, I probably could have just walked from where I was, but too bad. And now that we're in this area of the Dark World, by the way, I will be cutting back here fairly often. It's pretty much one of my favorite places to enter the Dark World from, because it's close to a lot of the places that I need to go to. We can head over here and bomb this wall. This is entirely optional, doesn't even give you a piece of heart, but I do recommend it, because talking to this guy, it's a secret to everyone, and 300 rupees is now yours. And we can also break the wall behind him to open these chests, which all contain 20 rupees, so that you can enter this place for a total of 380. Fairly useful. Because rupees, they'll pretty much lose a lot of their use, in fact almost their entire use, really, after this part ends, but oh well. Though thinking about it, I don't think I ever show up the magic shop where you can buy potions that restore all your health, all your magic, or both at once. I forget if that, I recall for a fact that the one that does both is the blue potion, but I forget if that revives you from death like a fairy does. I don't think it does. Sorry I didn't show that off, but, well. And as you can see, these are the trees of the world. They look pretty funky, but as you know, some of them actually have eyes on them. That's because they're people that got transformed into trees by entering the Dark World. A bit odd, but I'll take it, I guess. Anyway, using the magic meter here brings us up here, which is actually just southwest of Link's house. And entering this cave gets us piece of heart number 14. Next up, we want to yet again head back to the Dark World. And head north of screen, actually. Welcome to the Forest Glade, as I've always called it. This is an interesting area because it has this guy. After wandering into this world, I turned into this shape. I enjoyed playing the flute in the original world. There was a small grove where many animals gathered. I want to see that place again. I buried my flute there with some flower seeds. Will you try and find it for me? Sure. Then I'll lend you my shovel. Good luck. For chivalry! We can now dig in many places and we'll never know what we'll find. The shovel pretty much works the same way it does in the Oracle games. You dig stuff up, you have a random chance of finding a lot of stuff. Fairly useful, but I'll tell you for a fact, you have it for a very limited time. What the hell? Oh, that was weird. Yeah, that's actually the kid who wants the flute. That was his human form. Either way, dig over here, in this spot actually, right here, to get the flute! Its music surely has some mysterious powers, and once you get that, the shovel actually gets replaced by it. Now that we have the flutes, there's actually two things I completely forget to do with it, I'll tell you for a fact. Use the flute here, and something happens, but two things I forget to do is, first off, take this flute back to the kid who it belongs to in the Dark World. You actually get this really nice scene where he gets actually turned into a tree, with some sympathetic feelings from him. And second off, after that, you can head back to the Kakariko Village bar. By the way, aside from the guy in the top left, really, Kakariko Village is entirely abandoned after this point. But you can take it back to his father, and he'll be like, "Oh, thank you, you must have helped my son. Take the ocarina and just use it, because you need it more than he did. Or than I do, really." Sorry I didn't show that off, but oh well. Either way, by playing the ocarina, it's not the ocarina, the flute in front of that specific weather vane thing, we get pretty much a quick travel system. And now I'm going to head over to this screen in specific, because this is a pretty useful screen. First off, you can jump down here. You can only do this with the hammer, obviously. And we end up over here. If you entered the cave on that screen, actually, you'd end up in the room to the left of us, but there'd be a locked door. We want to head over here and use our magic powder on this thing.
Hey, blast you for waking me from my deep, dark sleep. Thanks a lot, sir. But now I'll get my revenge on you. Get ready for it. Is that okay with you, sir?
What?
I laugh at your misfortune. Now your magic power will drop by 1/2. Congratulations. Now do your best, even though I'm sure it won't be enough. Have a nice day. See ya.
Now, they're not entirely clear on what this is. They say he'll drop our magic power by 1/2, which when I first played, I thought he meant that everything, or that I had half the total. What it actually is you now have, let me start over. By doing that, you don't have half your magic power. It actually means that things cost half as much for magic, so it's actually very useful to get that. Anyway, we want to head to the northwest of Kakariko Village and enter the Lost Woods from this entrance. And head east. East, Kyle. By heading east over here, we can actually immediately head south into a hidden exit. This brings us to pretty much just north of Kakariko, actually. But by heading over here from this side, we can hammer down these stakes, lift up this rock, and find a Dark World portal. We can't enter this place from the south, in both worlds, actually, because there's a rock we cannot lift. Yet. Either way, we want to head to the Kakariko equivalent in the Dark World, Thieves Village. Or Thieves Town, one of the two. This place is where a lot of the side quests are for this part of the game, and there's the first one right here. And it's one of the ones I hate. This is the treasure chest shop. For 30 rupees, we get to open 2 chests. And what's in them is entirely random. It can be arrows, rupees, a piece of heart, bombs and such. You really only come here for the piece of heart, though. And I'm surprised I got it that early, because that could take me up to upwards of an hour. That was my first try, too. I was happy about that, to say the least. Next up in Thieves Town, there's actually 2 things that I can do with this. By bombing where the shop was, or one of the shops in Kakariko, you can enter this place and find a treasure chest. I'm not going to open it, though. What's in it is 300 rupees. There's 2 of those chests in this town. One in this house and one in the house in the very northeast of the town. Not useful for me, though, because I need those rupees for other things. Plus, that'll waste rupees at the end of it all, because I have less than 300 rupees. I'll max out. Damn, that poor guy. Either way, welcome to, I guess, the Dark Cemetery or something. I'm not sure what these areas. Some of these areas don't have names at all, actually. But we want to do something here. Namely, we want to run into a lot of these rocks. Why? Well, at the top left of the screen, pretty much of the screen, there's 2 rocks we can lift and then run into this bunch of them right here. This gets us to an area we couldn't get to before, obviously, but by using our magic mirror on top of this cliff, we reach an area of the light world we were not able to reach entirely, containing this cave, which has a bombable wall in it, and they really make sure you have enough bombs. In fact, this is pretty much a bomb restock entirely, though I think the other half has arrows. Either way, we can bomb this wall and get piece of heart number 16 and another heart container. And after exiting, there's something we can actually do pretty much immediately, but we have to head back to the Dark World first to get to it. Oh, that's the thing. If you warp to the Dark or Light World, and you're on top of something that you can't warp into, like a wall or something, you immediately get warped back, which is a utility I'm glad they included, because if you got stuck in a wall for that, that'd be absolute bullcrap. Either way, we want to go head back to the Light World with the magic mirror right around here. Which gets us to a grave we could not access before. But now, you can't push this one open unless you dash into it. You can only dash into that grave. If you try to push it, you'll never push it, I think. You shouldn't, unless you can later on. And by opening this, we get the magic cape. We are invisible when we wear it, but we have to watch our magic meter. Essentially, it's an invulnerability item. When you use it, you're invisible and you can't be hit by anything, including environment tiles, aside from pits. Either way, now we're back where the twin lumberjacks were hacksawing a tree open earlier. And by dashing into the tree they were hacksawing, we can enter the hole that was there. Sorry, I'm being very distracted by someone in the room at the moment. Either way, in this room, you can get a couple things. First off, there's a fairy fountain here, which is always nice. Actually, I think this is the only Zelda game that spelled fairy in the old English way instead of the way that a lot of people are used to nowadays. But the big reason to come in here is to head right and get a piece of heart number 17. Next up, we are going to head back to, I'm looking at my notes here and at the timeline simultaneously, Death Mountain. No, wait, no, not Death Mountain. We're actually just south of Thieves Town. Great, it's already time for this. This is the treasure field. The object is to dig as many holes as you can within a 30-second time limit with the shovel that he lends you. This can yet again pretty much drop anything. Rupees, bombs, arrows, magic containers. However, there is a random chance that you can get a piece of heart. It costs 80 rupees to do this game. And you can very easily make those rupees back up because it's very common to get 20 rupees from a hole. However, the only reason I'm here is for the piece of heart, which took me about 8 tries. If you fail the minigame, or at least, well, technically not fail the minigame, if you don't get the piece of heart, you have to exit the screen, come back, and then try again. 8 tries later, thankfully I managed to constantly get around 80 rupees back. And we get piece of heart number 18. That is my least favorite heart piece in the game. In fact, that is the main reason why I didn't get those rupees earlier, besides it would overfill my wallet. Because I wanted to make sure I could do that game with the rupees I had. Either way, we want to head back to the Death Mountain, actually, to where we first entered the Dark World, and jump down here. Since we now have the magic cape, we can do something in this cave. As you can see, there's spikes. A lot of them. Also, you need the hammer for this, so you need to have at least come to the Dark World once. By using the magic cape, we can escape the damage from these spikes. However, as you can see, our magic rapidly decreases. It's around this point in the game, if you have a free bottle, I recommend you head back to the witch's hut and buy a potion of magic, which refills your magic for you for free, pretty much, aside from the rupees you have to pay for it with. Lift this up, and in here we get a couple things. Hearts. I wouldn't be surprised if the back two actually held magic. I wish they did, if they do. But the main gimmick here, the main prize here is the Cane of Burna. We swing it once, we're completely invulnerable. Pretty much, it's the second invulnerability item. However, I'm low on magic and thus cannot use it. Meaning I had to walk through that area and almost die. Either way, we're back in pretty much dark, whatever the hell you call this place, the Dark Swamp. I don't care. And we want to head southwest, actually, towards where the entrance of the desert was in the Light World. Because, well, there's something we can get there. Now, in this item where the pegs are, this area where all the pegs are surrounding, in the Light World, there's a higher elevation area that we can't access otherwise. Get the Book of Modora out because you're going to need it, because there's another tablet here. Hold up the Master Sword and get the magic of Bombos. This is another screen nuke. Yeah, screw you, Vulture. Ha! This is the Bombos medallion. Its magic will make the ground explode with power. Watch your magic meter. Yeah, and that's actually all 3 medallions, too. The medallions are technically, I think, the most damaging attacks in the game. Aside from maybe the highest level sword spin attack, I think. But they eat up magic like a bitch. So use them sparingly. Either way, with that, we're pretty much done with side quest stuff. So what we're gonna do next is actually, as you can see here, we're actually back at the Swamp Ruins. In the Dark World, if you pay attention to the map that the First Maiden gave us with all the dungeons, its equivalent in the Dark World is a dungeon. So I had to head back to the Swamp Ruins and lower the water level again. I showed you how to do that in like part 2 or 3, I think. And then head into it again in the Dark World with the water lowered, because that's actually how you access part of the dungeon. But with that, I'm going to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 9, we'll be attempting, well actually no, we'll be doing, the Swamp Palace, I suppose. Sorry if I'm being very scatterbrained today, it's been a weird day. See you guys then.